Today, we are able to buy new and trendy clothing at a low and affordable price, all thanks to fast fashion. Fast fashion describes clothing that are mass-produced quickly in the response of latest trends. These clothing designs move quickly from catwalk to stores to take advantage of trends and appeal to shoppers because they are affordable and stylish. But because they are not built to last long, they quickly go out of style. Producing clothes uses a lot of natural resources, and it creates greenhouse gas emissions, which are responsible for climate change. The definition of climate change is the long-term increase in the Earth's surface temperature, which includes the large-scale changes in global, regional, as well as local weather patterns that result from that increase. This phenomena causes a significant increase in the level of greenhouse gases. But how does this happen? How does fast fashion contribute to climate change? Currently, it is estimated that the fashion industry is responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions. This is more than international flights and maritime shipping combined. This happens due to various factors such as production, distribution, and disposal of clothing and textile. First, let's talk about the production of clothing in textile factories. There are various elements that link the production of clothing to climate change. Cotton for the fashion industry uses 2.5% of the world's farmland. This is not including livestock, fertilizers, and burning biomass. While synthetic materials like polyester requires an estimated of 342 million barrels of oil each year. Clothes production processes such as dyeing requires 43 million tons of chemicals a year. All of these practices, whether directly or indirectly, emit greenhouse gases such as methane, nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, thus harming our environment. Next is the distribution of fast fashion. Once these clothing are produced, they need to be shipped to retailers and most times directly to consumers' doorsteps. Currently, over 90% of the world trade is carried across the world's oceans by some 90,000 marine vessels. Like all modes of transportation that uses fossil fuels, ship produces carbon dioxide emissions that significantly contribute to global climate change and also acidification. Now, let's talk about how these clothing materials are disposed. Throwing away clothes contribute to climate change in a more subtle and sinister way as one might think. The more you throw away, the more you buy to replace what you've thrown out. The more you buy, the more you increase in the demand of new clothing. This demand then translates to more air pollution, water pollution, as well as more water usage. So how do we overcome all these effects of fast fashion towards the climate? To eradicate this problem caused by fast fashion, we as a community should implement and practice circular fashion in our daily lives. The definition of circular fashion is the practice of removing waste and expiry timelines from the design of fashion items and allowing them a longer life cycle through repurposing and recycling. This practice tackles sustainability from its very beginning, from the raw materials used for fiber production to the last phase of the product's lifespan. The concept of circular fashion first originated from Dr. Anna Brismar, the head of the Green Strategy consulting firm. In order to make fashion circular, there are 3 key principles to it. First, we must ensure that the materials used to make our clothes are safe and are of renewable sources. Next, we should keep our clothes in use by taking good care of it, especially in terms of cleaning and storing it. And once they are not able to be used anymore, we should turn them into new materials, thus keeping it recycled. Now, let's cover the benefits of circular fashion. The first one is that it provides more space for innovation. By turning old materials into new ones and extending the clothing's life cycle, this circular concept seeks to achieve sustainable production, consumption, and resources for innovators. Next, it offers new roles in businesses, whether it is for service like redesigning, upgrades, and customization, that will make fashion products more versatile and useful. This gives chances to after-sale care specialists like dry cleaners, technicians, repairers, and others to earn more income as people come to fix their clothes and accessories instead of touching them. The third one is that circular fashion is a method of waste reduction, as it limits the synthetic material emissions and minimizes landfill waste, including possibility of microplastic runoff caused by harmful chemicals that may exist in clothing that were not made with renewable and safe materials. As for the fourth one is that circular fashion helps decrease water pollution. Without the possibility of microplastic runoff, water pollution is reduced as these microplastics cannot be consumed and excreted by organisms to produce noxious waste. This may also cause a decrease in ship operations as the distribution of goods become more efficient due to non-excessive purchases of newer goods.
Now, let's talk about the ways we can reduce the impacts of fast fashion. As a community, we should sell our clothes that is not used anymore. We can do this by sending unused clothes to thrift store so they can be repurposed by another owner. Then, we can occasionally hold pop-ups for thrifting events during public events. Sellers can also sell their unused clothes on online platform, for example, ThriftyBN. As consumers, we should separate clothing waste from other waste for recycling. We should ensure minimum wastage of clothing by providing recycling bins for clothing and textiles in selected locations. The clothing then can be given or donated to organizations for repurposing. To reduce the impacts of fast fashion in university settings, students should repurpose their old clothing. This can be done by encouraging students to sell their used clothes during pop-up events. University may create a thrift store on campus where students can sell their unused clothes. They could also provide clothes donation section for students from around campus to use for their projects. But what can we do to advocate awareness in regards to fast fashion? Awareness on circular fashion should be promoted amongst the community setting. Individuals and organizations should share and create posts regarding the impacts of fast fashion through social media to attract wider audiences. Business owners should provide workshops or seminars for public to increase awareness in clothing disposal. In universities, students should be educated on circular fashion. This can be done by collaboration with fashion industries for production of sustainable projects. Invitation of guest speakers from sustainable fashion companies to share their knowledge on fast and circular fashion. And lastly, they should allow students to do researches related to fast and circular fashion. To end this video, here is a quote by Emma Watson. As consumers, we have so much power to change the world by just being careful in what we buy.